We live in the most connected time in human history. With just a tap on our phone, we can message a friend thousands of miles away, join a video call with colleagues across continents, or scroll through updates from hundreds of people in our social media feeds. On paper, it sounds like we should never feel alone again. Yet, strangely, this hyper-connected world has also given birth to a growing crisis: loneliness. More and more people are reporting that they feel isolated, unseen, and emotionally disconnected, even while being constantly surrounded by digital noise. How is this possible? How can a world buzzing with endless notifications also feel so empty? Let's take a step back. Picture a person sitting in a cafe. Their phone lights up with messages: a coworker asking for a file, a friend sending a meme, an app reminding them to check the latest news. On the surface, they're in touch with so many people, but deep inside, they feel like no one truly knows them. That's the essence of modern loneliness: being connected, but not feeling understood. Loneliness is not just about being physically alone. You can sit in a crowded room, surrounded by hundreds of people, and still feel like an outsider. At the same time, you could be at home with one close friend or family member and feel completely seen, completely safe. The difference lies in the depth of connection, not the number of connections. The social media illusion. One of the biggest contributors to the loneliness crisis is the way we use social media. Think about how scrolling works. You see carefully selected highlights from people's lives, vacations, achievements, smiles, celebrations. It creates the illusion that everyone else is living a perfect, exciting life, while you're stuck dealing with everyday struggles. This comparison fuels a sense of inadequacy and isolation. You might have hundreds of friends or followers online, but when you're going through something difficult, how many of them will actually pick up the phone to check on you? Social media was designed to connect us, but in many ways it has replaced quality with quantity. Instead of a few deep, meaningful conversations, we end up with hundreds of shallow interactions: likes, emojis, short comments. It's like eating junk food. It fills you up temporarily, but it doesn't nourish you. And over time, that lack of nourishment leaves you starving for real connection. The disappearance of community. Not too long ago, human life was built around small communities. People lived in neighborhoods where everyone knew each other. There were local gatherings, shared rituals, and traditions that brought people together. If you were struggling, chances were that someone in your community would notice and step in. Today, many of us don't even know our neighbors' names. Our daily lives revolve around work, commuting, and online interactions. Real community, where people show up for each other physically and emotionally, has become rare. This shift has left a gap. Human beings are wired to belong. We evolved in tribes where survival depended on trust and cooperation. Being left out of the group once meant danger. Today, even if exclusion doesn't threaten our survival, it deeply affects our mental health. Loneliness is not just an emotion, it's a signal, a kind of alarm bell, telling us that something fundamental is missing in our lives. The hidden health impact. What many people don't realize is that loneliness is more than just a sad feeling. It has serious health consequences. Studies show that chronic loneliness can increase the risk of depression, anxiety, heart disease, and even shorten life expectancy. Some researchers compare its impact to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That's how powerful the human need for connection is. When it's missing, the body and mind suffer. Think about it. When you share a laugh with a friend, your brain releases feel-good chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin. These aren't just pleasant, they are essential to regulating stress and boosting our immune system. On the other hand, when you go long stretches without meaningful interaction, stress hormones like cortisol rise, weakening your body over time. Loneliness isn't just about the heart, it literally affects the body. Technology and the paradox of choice. We also face what psychologists call the paradox of choice. Technology gives us endless options for interaction. We can swipe through dating apps, join countless online groups, and follow thousands of people. but having too many options often leads to superficial engagement. Why invest deeply in one relationship when you can endlessly scroll for the next best thing? This mindset creates shallow bonds that lack stability. The result? More connections, but fewer that actually matter. And let's be honest, digital communication strips away much of what makes human interaction rich. A text message can't capture the warmth of a hug, the tone of voice, or the sparkle in someone's eyes. Emojis try, but they fall short. Our brains evolved to read faces, body language, and subtle cues. When we replace that with endless typing, something essential is lost. Work and the new isolation. Work culture also plays a role. Remote jobs, freelancing, and flexible schedules sound like freedom, and they are in many ways, but they also isolate people. Sitting in front of a computer all day, with only virtual meetings for contact, leaves many workers feeling unseen. Even traditional office jobs have changed. Many workplaces focus heavily on productivity and results, leaving little room for authentic human connection. People become colleagues, not friends. The result? A society that is efficient but emotionally starved. The pressure to appear perfect. Another subtle factor is the pressure to present a flawless image. Online, people showcase their best selves. Curated photos, filtered videos, polished updates. Admitting loneliness feels like weakness in a culture obsessed with positivity. So people hide it. They post smiles while crying behind the screen. They say, "I'm fine," when they're actually desperate for connection. This silence creates a vicious cycle. Everyone feels lonely, but no one talks about it, so everyone assumes they are alone in their loneliness. Rediscovering real connection. So what's the way out? It starts with redefining what connection truly means. It's not about numbers, it's about depth. Having two friends who truly listen, care, and show up for you is far more valuable than having 2,000 online followers. Real connection requires vulnerability. It means sharing not just your highlights, but also your struggles, your fears, your messy, imperfect self. Simple acts matter more than we realize. Calling a friend instead of just liking their post, inviting someone over for a meal, joining a local group or class where you meet people face to face. Human beings need eye contact, shared experiences, and physical presence. Even something as small as talking to a stranger at the grocery store or greeting your neighbor can chip away at isolation. Learning to be comfortable alone. There's also another side to loneliness, learning how to be okay with yourself. Sometimes we expect others to fill every emotional gap, when in reality, part of the journey is learning to sit with ourselves. Solitude can be powerful when it's chosen, not forced. It gives space for creativity, reflection, and self-discovery. The problem arises when solitude becomes chronic loneliness, when you long for connection but feel unable to find it. Balancing time with others and time with yourself is key. A collective responsibility. Finally, loneliness isn't just a personal problem, it's a societal one. If we want to reduce it, we need to rebuild spaces for real connection. Schools, workplaces, communities, even online platforms can all play a role in creating environments where people feel seen and included. Imagine if workplaces encouraged employees to share more than just work tasks. Imagine if neighborhoods organized more gatherings. Imagine if social media platforms prioritized depth over endless scrolling. The loneliness crisis didn't happen overnight, and it won't disappear overnight. But acknowledging it is the first step. We need to admit that despite all our technology, something human has been lost, and then actively work to bring it back. At the end of the day, loneliness is the gap between the connection we crave and the connection we actually experience. Technology has bridged distances, but it hasn't filled that gap. Only real human presence, empathy, and vulnerability can. So maybe the solution starts with something simple: putting down the phone, looking someone in the eyes, and saying, "How are you really?"